connecting to the Sarvathaiga. Om Sahana Bhavatu. Yamakshbhiryajatra Sthirairangai-stushtuvaagumsasthanubihi Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu Swasti na indro vruddhashavaha Swasti na pusha vishvabedhaha Swasti nastarksho arishtanemihi Swasti no bruhaspatir dadhatu Om Shanti 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 Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vansharshibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvo Paplavarahitah Pragnanaganah Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi Om Shanti 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 Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Nat Hiranmaye mantra number 10. Hiranmaye pare koshe Hiranmaye pare koshe Brahman virajam brahma nishkalam Virajam brahma nishkalam Tachubram jyotisham jyotihi Tachubram jyotisham jyotihi Tadyat atmavido viduhu Tadyat atmavido viduhu Hiranmaye pare koshe Virajam brahma nishkalam Hiranmaye pare koshe Virajam brahma nishkalam Tachubram jyotisham jyotihi Tadyat atmavido viduhu Tachubram jyotisham jyotihi Tadyat atmavido viduhu. We had seen that Shubram Jyotisham Jyotihi. That is Shubram. Shubram means pure, ever pure. That means that which cannot be contaminated in any which way. That which cannot be made impure in any which way. What does it mean? That which cannot be made impure. First understand what is impurity. Impurity is something that which is foreign, that which is external, that which is not natural to a given vastu. And if it is there with it, then it is called impurity. Like even some part of copper in an ornament made up of gold is impurity. But some part of copper in a pot, which is copper pot, copper is not an impurity. As such, nothing is impurity by itself. When you say impurity, it is always with reference to something. That something contains something foreign, has something unnatural, then it is impurity. Now, Brahman is ever pure. Brahman can never ever be made impure. How is it possible? The answer is, there is nothing other than Brahman. And whatever is there as other doesn't enjoy the same degree of reality. One is Satyam, another is Mithya. Like even no ornament can create impurity in gold. No ornament can contaminate the gold because gold is Satyam, and with reference to gold, all the ornaments are Mithya. It cannot touch it. It cannot contaminate it. So, Brahman is often referred as Asanga, untouched, unaffected, because there is no second reality which can affect the Brahman, which can touch the Brahman, which can contaminate. So Brahman is ever pure. Now, the further question comes, why then we have to work for purity? In puja we do sankalpa, mamopata samasta durita kshaya dwara Shri Parameshwar Vrityartham Shraddha Bhakti Dhyan Gnana Purassaram Sadhan Chatushta Sampatti Arthe Antahkarana Shuddhinaischalya Arthe, etc. Why we try to work for purity of the Antahkaranam, purity of the mind, etc. Why? The answer is, impurity is avidya. Ignorance is avidya. What is why it is avidya? Ignorance is impurity. How ignorance causes anyonya adhyasa? It causes anyonya adhyasa, means taking anatma to be atma and atma to be anatma. In other words, ahankara is impurity. What is the expression of ahankara? Ahankara is karta and bhokta. Kartrutvam, bhoktrutvam. Doership, enjoyership is impurity. And it further generates impurity. The doer, the bhokta wants something and the doer performs something, it generates punya and papa. So, punya papa are ultimately impurity. And at Vyavaharik level, papa is impurity. But to disown that papa, you need to disown ahankara. And ahankara, disown ahankara means you have to destroy or remove the ignorance. To remove the ignorance, you need knowledge, atma gnanam. And for knowledge to take place, you need relatively shuddha antahkarana, sattvic antahkarana. Then antahkaranam, which is relatively free from the holes of likes and dislikes. So all these are impurities. But these are all, as I said, there is nothing other than Brahman. There is no other vastu. All these impurities are empirical. They are mithya. But that to know mithya as mithya, you need relative purity. Understand? We have to work for antahkarana shuddhi to discover that aham nitya shuddha. In spite of all these impurities, in spite of karma phalas and raga dveshas and rajas and tamas and less sattva, etc., Brahman is nitya shuddha because it is akarta. Exactly like dream. In a dream world, there is impurity. But all the dream impurities cannot touch the Atma of the dreamer, namely I, the waker. Waker remains Nitya Shuddha, and therefore it is said Tat Shubram. Atma is Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Mukta. Even when I thought myself to be bound, I was not bound. Even when I thought myself to be unhappy or dukhi, I was never unhappy, never dukhi. I was ever ananda. I was ever muktaha. So, it is shubhram. And impurity can come to something which has parts. It is partless, and therefore does not undergo any change. Either external impurity added or the vastu changes and therefore becomes impure. It's like the curd becomes sour or the fruits becomes contaminated after some days. Here it is avikari and asangaha. Advitiyaha tasmat tat shubhram. It is ever pure. And then it says tat jyotisham jyotihi. It is a light of the light. This expression itself is indicative or a lakshyartha of consciousness. This needs to be understood properly. How come it is light of the light? There are two types of objects, opaque objects and luminaries, which are shining objects. Now, you certainly require external light. We certainly require physical light to illumine these opaque objects. But there are luminary self-shining objects. For that, you don't require light. Sun is not an opaque thing. It is self-shining, and you don't require a light to light up the sun. So also the moon, so also the stars, so also the fire. Here Shastra says that Shubram Jyotisham Jyoti. It is a light of the light. That this statement implies that light word of the light in these two lights words have a different meaning. Of the lights, Jyotisham Jyoti. Of Jyotisham, of the lights, is a physical luminance. And that is a Jyoti, it is a light of the lights. That first light is not of the same category as those lights. Because just now we said, you don't require a light to light up the sun. You don't need to illumine the sun, much less fire or anything. So in spite of that, here Shastra says so. So remember, in Shastra, whenever the word light or Jyoti is used, it is in the sense of self-revealing. Self-revealing, that which reveals itself by itself, that which does not require any agency of light to reveal itself. Self-illuminating. How? Look at this. Self-revealing means what? In day-to-day life, when you see an object is seen only when it is enveloped by some external light, and that external light comes to your eyes, and that is revealed by the eyes. Okay? Atman. And that Chaitanya Jyotihi illumines it. This particular point is conveyed or is revealed in the next mantra. Look at the mantra number 11. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. Nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agnihi. Nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agnihi. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. Nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agnihi. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. Nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agnihi. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Whole mantra. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. Nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agnihi. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. Nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agnihi. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. In earlier mantra, Shruti said that Shubram tat jyotisham jyoti. Very beautifully explained by Bhagavad Pad Shankaracharya ji. Jyotisham jyoti. Ajnadinam jyotishtvatvam. The fire, etc., has a capacity to illumine. Fire, etc., has illumination. Is because of what? Antargata Brahmatma Chaitanya Jyotir Nimittam. That is there because of the Jyoti called Brahmatma. It is Nimittam. It is because of that. And that the Dhiparam Jyotihi, that is a real Jyotihi. Yad Anya Anavabhasya. That which cannot be revealed by others. And that is the very word Bhagavad Pada gives, that is Atma Jyotihi. That Jyotisham Jyotihi is called as Atma Jyotihi. Okay, it explains here further. Here, the sun does not shine. Na tatra suryaha bhati. Sun cannot light up this Jyotihi. Jyotisham Jyotihi. In previous mantra it was said, the light of the light cannot be lighted up by sun. The light of the light cannot be lighted by Chandra and Tarakam and the moon and the stars. Moon and the stars cannot light it up. Naima vidyuto bhanti. This lightning, vidyutaha, not in Gujarati and Hindi, vidyut means electricity. But lightning cannot light it up. Lightning cannot illuminate up. Kutoyam Agni. How come? Can this fire light it up? Answer is certainly not. How can fire, in other words, the synonym would be fire also cannot light it up. Tameva bhantam anubhati san. Everything that is shining, everything that is illuminating, all that shines after, illumines after, anubhati sarvam. That illumines after that self, that Brahmatma, and which is what? Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. In whose light all the lights light up. His tasya, that tasya bhasa, his light or its light, in its light, all the lights light up. Now connect the previous mantra and this mantra. Then it would be easy to explain that. Okay? How? Na tatra suryo bhati na chandraka tarakam. The sun cannot light up that which is jyotisham jyoti, that which is light of the light. That light of the light cannot be lighted up by sun. That light of the light cannot be lighted up by moon and stars. That light of the light cannot be lighted up by the lightning, and that light of the light cannot be lighted up by fire. Now, look at this sentence, another sentence. The electricity. We have different appliances. What are the appliances? Let us say we have LED bulb, we have tube light, we have this flashlight, and etc. Can we say that the light of the light, means LED bulb, light of the LED bulb cannot illumine the electricity. Light of the flashlight cannot illumine the electricity. Light of the tube light cannot illumine the electricity. Light of the bulb cannot illumine the electricity. Electricity can be called as tube light of the tube light. The light of the tube light is electricity. Light of the LED bulb is electricity. There may be yellow light, halogen light or some other light. Light of the yellow light is also electricity. The warm light, light of the warm light is also electricity. So the electricity is the light of all the lights. And that's where this sentence of Bhagavad Pada Bhashyakara, Ajnadinam Jyotishvam Antargata Brahmatma Chaitanya Jyotir Nimittam. So the illumination or shining of electricity, LED bulb, yellow light, halogen light, etc. is because of there is electricity within them. There is electricity within them. Understand the word within. That is what it is said in Gita ji also. Yadadityagatam tejo jagad bhasayate khilam yat chandramasi yat chagno tat tejo middhimam. What is that? What is that? What that? There is a light. Adityagatam teja. That there is a effulgence of light in the sun. That is my light within that light. Sunlight, I am inside. So, yadaditya gatam teja. That aditya gatam tejo jagat bhasayate khilam, which illumines the entire world. Yat Chandramasi Yat Chagro, whether it is in the moon or the stars, Tad Viddhi Mam Kam, that is my light, Bhagavan says. I am the effulgence in all that self-effulgent lights. I mean, self-revealing light or lighting, shining objects. I am the ultimate light which is there behind these lights. How is it possible? And that is why, since it is inside the tube light cannot illuminate, and it can be called as tube light of the tube light. Since it is inside the halogen or LED light, it can be called as light of the LED light. The color, yellow light, white light, warm light, there may be varieties of expression, but the light, the inner light, namely the electricity, is free from any attributes. And that being the case, cannot be illuminated. Why? It is the very self of it. A vastu cannot illumine itself. Vastu cannot objectify itself. Like suppose you have a torchlight, and it's very powerful torchlight, and you want to see what are the batteries inside. And you open the torchlight, take out the battery dry cells, and put it in the front of the bulb. Bulb cannot illumine. The bulb of the torchlight cannot illumine the cell, which is the self of the torch. Why? The illumination capacity in a torchlight is borrowed from those cells. So also this tube light borrows the illumination from electricity. LED light borrows its illumination from electricity. Yellow light borrows its illumination from electricity. That is why in Kena Upanishad it is said, Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Manoyat Vacho Havacham Chakshushas Chakshu. Yad Vacha Anabhyuditam Yena Vag Abhyudati. Yad Chakshushana Pashyanti Yena Chakshumshi Pashyanti. That which cannot be seen by the eyes, but because of which the eyes, that which cannot be identified, objectified by the words, that because of which the words reveal, that which cannot be heard by the ears, that which lends the hearing capacity to ears. So here it is said, when it is, I said it's a different Jyotihi, word is consciousness. Earlier, now let us connect these mantras. In the fifth mantra, it was said, Yasmin Dev Prithvi Chantariksham Otam Manasah Pranaisha Sarve Tamekam Janatha Atmanam Anya Vacho Vimunchatat Amrutasya Sasetuhu. He says, Yasmin, in whom Devhu Prithvi Cha Antariksham. Devhu means heavens and the world, earth, and the space in between these two. And Manaha Saha Pranishya. And the mind along with the pranas are what? Otam. They are woven. They are woven. That is Brahman. Everything is woven in Brahman. Meaning thereby, we had seen there earlier, Brahman is the substratum. It is the adhishthanam. It provides the existence to all of them. Everything is because of that Brahman. Now, the question is that Brahman a conscious or inert? Now, here it is said, What is that Brahman? Brahman is Jyotisham Jyoti. It is Adityagatam Tejaha. Yana tatra suryo bhati na chandratarkam nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agni. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. When everything shines after that self which shines, that means that which provides existence to everything is that Sat Brahma is Chit Brahma. That is Jyotisham Jyotihi implies that Jyoti is self-revealing, where it is self-effulgent. How understand? How? Eyes, let us say, appreciate various forms and colors. You can say you appreciate forms and colors because of the eyes. So you can say eyes reveal, eyes illumine the forms and the colors. They shine up in a way. You have to include the opaque objects. Shine after the light. When the external physical light illumines them, then they are revealed. But even if the external light or physical light shines there, you don't see the opaque objects unless you don't recognize them, unless they are appreciated or they are revealed by the eyes. For a person who is born blind, there is hot sun, all right, but there is no shining sun. The shine of the sun is revealed by the eyes. True, you can say the opaque objects are revealed by the light, but the light itself is revealed by the eyes. So then opaque objects are revealed or shines bhati, physical light is anubhati. I mean, physical light bhati, opaque objects are anubhati. Sorry, I said wrongly earlier. The shine after the light, but the light itself shines after the eyes. When the eyes are shining, when the eyes are revealing, the eyes are illuminating, then only you see the sunlight. But light is seen, light is known, light is recognized in the light of eyes. Chakshu Jyotihi, you can say. Chakshu Jyotihi, you recognize the light. But then it happens sometimes, and I have experienced in the past also. Person standing across at some distance is calling the other guy, and the one who is standing other side, and the other person who is being called is looking at the same side. It appears that he is looking at the other person, but doesn't see because mind is somewhere else. The mind should back the eyes. Then only eyes can see. Eyes can illumine the light. The mind is to be there, backing it. So true for the ears. The sound is revealed by the ears. Ears bhati, sound anubhati. But then ears can reveal the sound only when it is backed by the mind. If the mind is somewhere else, then even if there is a noise is made, even if the call is made, the person doesn't listen. A classic example is in a home when the children are watching TV and mother gives a call from the kitchen. She shouts at the children. She calls the name of her daughter. And generally, this nickname is Munni or baby in Gujarati. She calls Munni, then Munni, little higher, then little more, further, Munni. She doesn't listen. And then typical mom, Ali Berry, oh, deaf one. Suddenly she listens and, yeah, did you call me, mom? She says, oh, deaf one. She says, and, mom, and then she says, did you call? The sound did come. The pitch of the sound was enough to reach to the ears of that Munni. But then she couldn't hear because there was no mind behind it. Mind was engrossed in TV. Whenever mind is not backing up a given sense organ, you don't see the things, you don't know the thing. What is mind? Mind is, when I say mind behind, means appropriate modifications. You can say vritti should take place. What is mind is what? The mind has to have that, as we call it as Vishayakara Vrittihi. Vrittis in the form of a thought form, which form of a given object about which the stimuli is received through those five sense organs. So you can say Vritti Bhati, and then ears or eyes, etc., sense organs are Anubhati. Okay? Why you say so? Because when one is asleep, and some people I had my one cousin, when he used to sleep, he still is there in US, used to sleep with little open eyes. Eyes are open, but the mind is not there. So corresponding vritti doesn't take place and the knowledge doesn't take place. Ears are open. You don't plug the ears when you sleep. And some sound is taking place, but you don't hear it. Smell is taking place. You don't feel it. You don't smell it. Even perspiration takes place. Something is touching, but you don't feel the sense of touch. Because the only reason is that corresponding vritti doesn't take place. And even if the vritti takes place, there are twofold vrittis in the mind. Vishayakara vritti, we have seen, a thought modification corresponding to a given object, but that vritti is to be recognized by aham vritti. That idam vritti are connected to aham vritti. Vrittayastvaham vrittimashitaha. We have seen in Upanishad that idam vrittis are ashritaha or on aham. So ahankara recognizes. And that when aham is there, then only idam is recognized. And that idam vritti, vishayakara vritti, a thought modification takes place only when there is a sense, adequate and proper sense organ coming in contact with a given object. This is how the knowledge takes place. So ultimately, ahankara bhati, sarvam anubhati. Ahankara bhati, idam vritti anubhati, idam vritti bhati, indriya anubhati, indriya bhati, vishaya anubhati. So you can say ahankara is tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati, in whose light everything is lighted. No. In deep sleep, ahankara is missing. Ahankara is sleeping. When the ahankara is sleeping or resolved, then there is no knower. Ahankara is a knower. That there is no knower. Since there is no knower, no knowledge takes place. But when I wake up, I know that no knowledge took place. Nakinchid api avedisham Sukhena maya asvams. I slept so happily. I slept so comfortably. Nothing I know. Who was there? That consciousness was there. That Sakshi was there. That consciousness is Bhati. And that consciousness is self-revealing. To say I am, you don't require even aham vritti. To say I am, you don't require agencies of sense organs. You don't require mind. You know that some Pujya Swamiji often used to say, a book by a French philosopher, I think, therefore I am. He used to say that. It is not true. It is the other way around. I am, therefore I think. There are so many people who don't think and still they are there. And they keep talking also, like Rahul Gandhi and others. They say something. Our leader of the son of the leader of the opposition. That fellow's videos, when you listen, you wonder whether does he think at all or not, you know. See, mathematics, I guess, he is very poor. Some numbers he can't speak at all. He would say 10, it is proper to say 7 out of 10. But he would say 10 out of 7. How can it be 10 out of 7? And some all kinds of videos are there in Google, I mean on YouTube anyway. So let's leave him for what he is and let Modi handle the party. But without thinking also, so many people can survive. And they are there. You don't need the agency to think, to prove your existence. I can be there without thinking. So the self, that Jyotihi, is self-revealing. Sunlight reveals the objects in the light of the eyes and the vritti and the ahankara, but that ahankara itself is revealed by the consciousness. That consciousness is self-revealed. To know that I am, you don't require any external agency or any light. Anything that is sentient and says I am, that I amness, that self-awareness belongs to consciousness. In the earlier mantra, it was said, Yasmin Dev Prithavi Antariksham Cha, O Protam, etc. That Satta existence is borrowed. Anything that is, that isness belongs to consciousness. Anything that shines, anything that illumines, anything that reveals something, that shining is borrowed from the consciousness. Consciousness is the ultimate illuminator. You know, that Brahman, like electricity, is ultimate illuminator, because of which everything gets a capacity to illuminate. Therefore, in Gita ji, Bhagavan says in 15th chapter, Yadaditya gatam tejo jagat bhasate akhilam yad chandramasi yachagno tat tejo viddhi mamakam. Okay, that what is that light in the sun is my light, you know. The existence of anything depends upon that Brahman, which is Sat Swarupa, and the sentiency or consciousness of anything that is there depends upon the consciousness Chit Brahma. That means Sat is Chit Brahman. Okay. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Okay. Tasya satta sarvamivam asti. In whose existence everything else is, and it lends existence to everything and also reveals, gives light to everything. Remember this. When you say everything, it lends satta to everything. So what is the purpose or what is implied meaning of this sentence? Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. What is implied meaning? Listen this. Implied meaning is sarvam is mithya. Any ornament that exists, that existence of an ornament belongs to gold. Gold lends existence to a given ornament, chain or bangle or ring, and whatever number it may be. Similarly, the shine of that ornament belongs to gold. The shine also belongs to gold, and existence also, you can say, belongs to gold. It lends existence. Gold lends existence. Gold lends shine. What does it mean? That so-called ornament is only name and form. In other words, mithya. Please understand. It doesn't mean that ornament is non-existent. It doesn't mean ornament is not beautiful. It doesn't mean ornament is not useful. Everything is. When I say mithya, I mean to say the reality of the ornament, the shine of the ornament. When I say ornament is mithya, I mean the existence and the shine of the ornament belongs to gold. That's all. It is purely cognitive. Appreciation of the fact. Though it appears that it exists on its own, it shines on its own, but then a wise person knows its existence of an ornament and the shine of an ornament ultimately belongs to gold. Ornament as though has borrowed its existence and shine from the gold, and anything that which exists in a borrowed existence, anything shines due to some borrowed shine, is technically, its reality is called mithya. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. What does it mean? It only means everything is that you see is mithya. There is only Satyam, that is Brahman. Okay. So, in other words, gold alone is in the form of chain and the bangle and the ring. And that is because there is something called Maya you have to bring it. So that's a separate topic. Where come the Maya? Everything is born. That everything which is nothing but the name and form is caused by Maya. Yad na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kutoya magni. Means nothing can illuminate because it is the very self of all the Jyoti. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. When it shines, everything shines in the shine of the self. Means only and only one vastu is self-revealing. It's true. To see the light of the sun, you don't require a light, but certainly you require the light of the eyes. You require light of the mind. You require light of ahankara and ultimately Chaitanya Jyoti. Here the word Jyotihi or Bhasa, Tasya Bhasa, in its light, everything is lighted up. It means it is Jyoti Swarupa. Don't imagine Swarupa means something. All lights are, electricity can be called as Jyotis Prakasha Swarupa. So in Gujarati, electricity is referred as light. And when there is power, it goes for some whatever reason, there's a light went off and light came. Power came and light. They don't use the word power. That is in this sense. These mantra also can be looked upon in further. You can interpret it further. We have discussed this in Tattvabodha, that each sense organs have their Adhisthana Devata, different Devatas. The Adhisthana Devata of the sun, the presiding deity of eyes is sun. Presiding deity of speech is Agni. Presiding deity of ears is Dik Devata. Presiding deity of the mind is Chandrama. Manaso Devata Chandramaha Chakshusho Suryaha Vacho Vannihi, etc. Devatas are. Now, when it says sun cannot illuminate, no, natatra suryo bhati. So you can subjectively say, when the presiding deity of the eyes itself cannot illuminate, that means the eyes cannot illumine Brahman. In other words, eyes cannot objectify Brahman. You cannot see Brahman because the Jyoti of the eyes or the Jyoti of the sun, tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Whatever there is a Jyoti, illumination of the sun belongs to the consciousness. So eyes cannot objectify it. Mind also cannot objectify it. Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandrata. Kutoyam Agni also, the speech cannot objectify it. So that's why Kena Upanishad mantra is there, Yena yat chakshushi na pashyanti, yena chakshumsi pashyan. Yad vacha na bhiditam, yena vag abhyudite. Yat manasa na manute, yena manor manute. That cannot be illumined by mind. It is because of which the mind has a capacity to illuminate. It is because of which the ears have capacity to illumine or reveal the words. It is because of which the eyes have capacity to reveal the name and the form. It is because of which the nose has a capacity, Granendriya has a capacity to illumine the smell. That is consciousness. That means what? It is not available for any kind of objectification. No sense organs can objectify, including the mind. Mind also can never ever objectify. So when they say, I sit in meditation, in deep meditation, I saw the effulgence of consciousness. Understand? Effulgence of consciousness. This itself is contradictory. Effulgence is consciousness. And if you see that, who is the seer? That means you are not that consciousness, which is you saw effulgent consciousness. And who lighted up the seer? Who gave you capacity to see in that meditation? And this Swamiji used to say, the white heat of meditation. I don't know, white heat. And then they have to change the tone also. But white or black or red or orange, whatever heat, the color of the heat may be. But that which imparts the capacity to heat it up is consciousness and capacity to see. In other words, even in meditation, you cannot see the consciousness because it is the light of the seer. Very ahankara, I am karta. In that karta, I am belongs to Satchidananda. The existence of karta and you can say shine or illumination of awareness of karta is borrowed from the consciousness, from Chaitanya, which is the awareness. The awareness, consciousness, as though illumines the karta. Not really illuminating. It is the very substrate upon whom the karta is superimposed. Remember, upon the snake is superimposed on the rope. That means it is agnana janya superimposition. There is no physical. One is a substratum and another is something else is superimposed. That superimposed karta is mithya. Superimposed snake is mithya. It exists as long as there is ignorance about the rope. Similarly, karta exists as long as there is ignorance about the consciousness, about the awareness, about Satchidatma, Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahman. When that Brahman is recognized, the snake disappears. Rope is recognized. Ahankara disappears. Means you see the mithyatvam of ahankara. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Na tatta suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kuto yamaknihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Shines after. This shining after also you should understand. Tameva bhantam, it shines and the other thing shines after. Shining after may enjoy same degree of reality. Like a mirror in the sun, light, reflects the light. The light of the mirror, light reflected by the mirror is of the same reality, same degree of reality. Sunlight and the mirror light, you can say. So, tameva bhantam anubhati san. Sun shines and therefore mirror shines. It is not in that sense. Or the anup, common example is Rama gacchati, Lakshmana anugacchati. Rama goes and Lakshmana goes behind. It shines after. No. The shining after is mithya. Understand this? It is not the awareness. This is where you have to see the laksharth, not vachyarth. That is awareness. If it is not the light of the awareness is reflected in antakaranam. We say pratibimba, antakarana avachinna chaitanya. Abhasa, antakarana, reflects the consciousness that we say. But then it is not that antakaranam shines. Okay? Not shining after. There is nothing shining after. Shining after implies it is as though shining. Appearance. Shining after doesn't enjoy the same degree of reality as the consciousness. Pratibimba vada. We say reflection of the consciousness in antakarana. But that is not really a reflection because the surface in which it is reflected is only name and form. It is mithya, and so-called pratibimba itself is mithya. Okay? There is no anubhati sarvam. So anubhasanam is vehvarika. Since objects have empirical reality, eyes have empirical reality, vritti, everything is an empirical world. And from the standpoint of reality, there is only one vastu, that is Satchit Vastu. We'll see something, next mantra in next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. We'll see you in the next class.